talking about, right? So I feel like when I am myself, I'm going out, I'm just being myself, just I bring a certain energy to that environment where the environment changes because I've stepped into it. And because I'm a Christian, you know, and I try to be a Christian at all times, and people have given me their feedback about how they feel about how I've kind of started to fit in these different places. So I guess I'll try to start from the beginning, like the first experiences to the last. So coming to Korea and in processing into where I'm going to be working and everything that I'm required to do. So has been a difficult process because apparently a lot of people in Korea feel that they have to watch soldiers as closely as possible. So everything we do has to be perfect, right? Everybody has to be trained specifically for doing their job here in Korea. It doesn't matter if what your rank is, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter your experience. You come to Korea, you get retrained on everything just to make sure you do your job perfectly, because soldiers have to be perfect in Korea now, because they don't want soldiers to do anything to offend the people of Korea. So retraining everything. And I've been in the military or serving since 2012, and retraining everything has been an experience, to say the least. On top of learning a new job. So retrain everything and then learn a new job on top of that. So that's been interesting. So also, if we don't meet certain standards, then it's automatic loss of rank, right? So there's people who do inspections. If we go anywhere, do anything, and if we get called in a random inspection, if everything on their checklist isn't checked off, we lose our rank. So I feel like if I had known this before coming to Korea, I probably would have chosen a different duty station, because apparently we are not well received in Korea. So also, so just that's like beginning, right? All right, so then once in processing has happened and starting to learn everything, now it's like, okay, working to do just to, you know, to improve, right? And also get in the groove of who you are, you know, like what you do, right, when you're not at work. And I go to church, and going to church has been an experience. I've been going to different services, trying to find a church, right? Like a Christian community. And there's different Christian communities that have been here a long time. And those different communities, everyone's friendly, but they are definitely all completely different. So there's the chapel here in Camp Carroll, and then there's services in Camp Walker. And my experiences have led me to go to the gospel service more consistently than the others. So, because when I go to the gospel service, I feel like no one questions me about just being a human, right? Just being myself. No one questions that. I feel like when you go to services where you're an outsider, where it's like people are speaking a different language, or they have a different culture, you have to be human first, right? You're not even free to be human. You have to be seen as something other than human. You're what you call demonized, right? So you got to have the right to be seen as a human in certain places. And then, you know, okay, we can talk about being a Christian. But, so I go to the gospel service because it's like, oh, I'm more accepted there as a human, in my opinion. And so, but even in the gospel service, there's still people who, you know, have, you know, their situation, right? So most people, you know, they don't like going to church because honestly, church is filled with people who are usually more dangerous individuals than you would normally meet on the street. Because people who do things religiously and consistently are going to always be more dangerous. One, more well-trained, you know, and, you know, specialize in something, you know, like they've practiced something which makes them, you know, more dangerous, right? So versus just being uneducated, you know, don't do anything consistently, right? So then you go to church and you meet these type of people. And then it's because Christianity talks about the consequences of your actions, right? So you would think sometimes it would make people that okay, they genuinely want to be good people, but really it just makes people better at deceiving you, right? Because they know there's consequences to actions, right? So like an average person on the street, they're going to be more honest about what they do wrong in life. They're going to be more honest about their lifestyle. They're going to be more honest about things that they do that are questionable. But in the church, because they're more aware of consequences, they're going to be more devious, and, you know, they're going to deceive you and practice to deceive people more, because in church, there's consequences to actions, right? There's not just, oh, just do you, right? Like we're Christians and we believe in we're all striving to be like Jesus. What would Jesus do, right? And so there's consequences to those actions. Like, okay, if you do the wrong thing, then there's consequences, right? You're supposed to go through a number of things to make it right as a Christian, right? You're supposed to go talk to the person, then you're supposed to, go get a witness, and then the church, go talk to the church, and then the church members, the church community, right? And then you got to do all these things to try to make things right. So people spend more time trying to just pretend, or they try to be more devious about things that are going on, so that they don't have to go through all these Christian teachings, right? They don't have to really go through all that. They can just let things just continue to be wrong if they can deceive you into thinking that there's nothing wrong, right? So there's a lot more people that practice deception in Christian communities, right? So now, I believe also, because if you practice doing the right thing, you know the right things, it also creates a person that is capable of doing more wrong things than your average individual, because people tend to intentionally do wrong things, but only in church do people intentionally are capable of doing all the wrong things, because we teach what the wrong things are. Where somebody uneducated, they intentionally do the wrong thing. They're uneducated. The wrong thing's not going to be too many things for them. But to a Christian who can intentionally just go through everything that's wrong in the Bible and do all of them, makes a much more dangerous person in the world, in my opinion. So that situation, right? Like dealing with more dangerous people, right? In a hostile environment is a sensitive situation, right? Because you just show up like you show up to church, right? You're a Christian, you want to go to church, you talk to people in the church, and sometimes somebody decides they don't like you in the church, right? You didn't do anything wrong, like you haven't done anything Jesus wouldn't do, right? But they still have a problem with you, right? For their own personal reasons, right? Personal reasons which they're going to try to deceive you into thinking they don't have, so that they don't have to fix anything, right? They don't have to go through they read the Bible, they don't have to go through any of these different requirements to fix the problem. So you just deceive people into thinking that there is no issue. And in my opinion, I find going to church has been more about explaining myself more than anything else, because I feel like some members of the church, they prefer, at least they see you as human enough to ask you a question, right? So then it's like, okay, so I'm answering questions. I'm just answering like all the questions that I can answer. So like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And I do a lot of things. I'm not questioned on everything I do. Just only if something I do, they feel personally affects them. Like if they're personally affected by my decision, then they will ask a question about that. Because I do a lot of things, and a lot of things people don't care about, but if it's something that personally affects them in some way, they have a question. Or they have an issue, which they would pretend they don't have. Because then they feel like now they're required to do all these Christian things, like to make things right, which they don't want to do. Right? So I make this channel, the Christian channel, because I'm a Christian. I'm trying to be Christ-like. I'm trying to be God-like. I'm trying to be like Jesus. We can't be God, but we can be like him. We can try to do things that are like Jesus. What would Jesus do in a certain situation? One, Jesus, he doesn't care about worldly things. Not one thing in this world, So people who feel offended because of worldly things, like there's things in this world, like they're choking the word, like thorns. They're growing up, they're choking the word. Things in this world, they're being distracted by certain things and certain desires and wants. But a Christian person who's trying to be Christ-like, trying to be Christian, doesn't care about any of that. Like, if there's anything that I want, I asked for it. If there's anything I don't want, I didn't ask for it. Right? Like, I feel like I'm powerful enough to take what I want and ask for what I want and do what I want. Like, I'm a warrior. Even if I wanted to kill someone, I don't even need a weapon, right? So for someone to question me on what I might want to do, I feel like it's why even ask that question? Because if I haven't done it, you can believe I don't want it, right? So because I'm powerful enough to get it if I did. I believe so. It's like I'm an intelligent person. It's like if there's somebody who wants to watch my videos, I'm happy that they want to watch my videos. If somebody doesn't want to watch my videos, I hope they would just say, no thanks. And that'd be the end of the problem. But it's like when people have the belief that they have to hide issues because they're a Christian instead of make them right, now there's a problem because now no one's communicating, no one's finding any common ground. And it's like, I can't tell someone, like, I'm trying to be as Christ-like as possible. Despite the fact that I'm human, I'm trying to be as Christ-like as possible. That means no matter what you're thinking, it's like I'm trying to do the right thing at all times, if I can help it. So It's like I have my desire, what I want God's will to be done. Anybody ask me what I want, it's like I have a scientific mind. I love science. If I can't prove it with science, like I can't say scientifically, oh, this is something that I should want. If I can't say that, chances are I don't want it. I can't go into a laboratory and say, yeah, this glass of water, that's the glass of water for me. This collection of elements, that God put in the world, that has its predetermined destination, right? Its cycle, it's doing something that we all know through science it's destined to do, right? Oh, it's going to evaporate, or if it's hot, like the situation is going to dictate how things are going to play out. It's just God knows what's going to happen before it happens, right? And anybody around me, around my energy, I feel they're going to be enlightened a little because I'm trying to be Christ-like. If anybody follows me, does the things I do, I feel like they're going to get stronger, not weaker. So, because in my opinion, Jesus is my strength. And I don't believe even death can defeat Jesus. So I can be defeated, but who I believe in can't be. So God can't be defeated. It's like I have imperfections. My body's imperfect. But just because I have an imperfection doesn't mean that that's who I am. If I feel like my hand offends me, I'm gonna cut it off. Period. I don't have any desire for anything in this world that isn't clearly being given to me by God. Because if you watch my videos, there's plenty of things that God gives me. I don't have to ask for it. I don't have to try to go after it. I don't have to do anything. It's just given to me. I don't have to say, hey, I want you to clap your hands, or hey, I want you to, to tell everybody how much you like me or something. Like some things are just given by God. No one can take them from me. They were given by God. I don't have to ask for things that I know I have already in abundance because I serve God. So a lot of times people come to me and they say like, oh, I want to be with you, right? They want to be in a relationship with me, and I tell them no for different reasons. Everybody's different. Maybe somebody they had a baby, and I told them no, I don't want to be in a relationship because you have a baby, and I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who has a baby because I don't have kids. I kind of want to feel like I'm in a relationship that's kind of even, or somebody says they like me, but I feel like they like a lot of guys. So for that reason, like, oh, you like me today, but then somebody else tomorrow. So like, you don't really have like a scientific reason or proof that you want to be with me. You're just going with what you feel like is convenient. I can't say, oh, this is who God wants me to be with. Like, I can even prove it scientifically, Like Jesus just came out of this woman, right? Like the Savior, and I was told to be with this woman, right? It's like I kind of feel like it's somewhat scientific, right? To see someone do miracles that can't be proven by science is, in a way, a scientific evidence, in my opinion. It's like, just because I see something that can't be explained, scientists see things that can't be explained, it's still scientific proof, even though things can't be explained. Like, I kind of feel you can sense right from wrong. Someone can tell you something and you can believe their story. But just because someone says something doesn't mean that what they're saying is true, or is there evidence that goes with their story. It's like, I feel like I talked about this in another video about just people choosing the entertainment that they like best over anything that's really has any weight or substance to it. So currently, I have a roommate. My walls are really thin. He hears everything that I'm saying and everything I'm doing. It's been a wonderful experience so far. And I really just wanna just make it very clear that being a Christian is the important thing to take away. Like, different situations, different issues, it's important to be Christian in all of these different situations. Really Christian, and actually, follow Jesus' teachings. Because you may not believe that Jesus will help, but if you don't try, you'll never know for sure. So, and I'm a Christian. I believe, that Jesus didn't just pray. Jesus did things. Someone comes to Jesus with an issue, with a problem, he didn't just pray about it. He'd do something about it. So, and Jesus wasn't above putting his hands on people. There's a lot of things Jesus did people didn't agree with. But what scientific evidence do they have that Jesus is wrong? I feel like want to end on something I heard in church where it was said, thinking about things changes you. If you think about positive things, it makes you more of a positive person. So I'm thinking about what Jesus would do, how Jesus would handle the situation. You know, let the man that's good, you know, let the good man, the perfect man, let him be the first to throw a stone. And it's going to take younger people longer to think about it. But even a younger person understands that they have made mistakes, I think. Just forgive, and you can be forgiven. There's no one who I can't forgive, no matter what. It's like I've been in fights, people punch me in the face, slap me in the face, but I'm strong. Jesus is my strength. After a fight, I can shake hands. I can be friends. I can love. Just have peace, because that's the things that I think about. There's no one who can take my peace, because there's no one who's God, who's like God. Nobody. The only one that can take away my peace is God, in my opinion, I think. Jesus is the only person who I'm thinking about constantly, whose opinion has any weight on my existence. It's like, I'm going to die making this video and to say that I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. Not everyone is like me. That doesn't mean that I look down on anyone, because everybody's different. It's like, when I look at people, I'm pretty much just looking at them. They are just the sum of their scientific properties to me. My feelings can't be hurt by oxygen, by hydrogen, by nitrogen, by phosphorus. My feelings can't be hurt. It's like, you drink water, I drink water. I'm not offended by water. Everybody's mostly water. You're just, your pattern of behavior is simply the pattern of behavior that you have experienced in your life. Some people are cursed, so they are more toxic. Some people are blessed, so they're the people fixing things that need fixing. It's like, I love you all. Even if you think I hate you, I love you all. Because I love water. You drink water, I drink water. And God's more important than you or me. God's more important than the best glass of water you could find on the planet. God's more important than that water.